Hello everyone, welcome to this channel. Hello everyone, happy Monday and welcome to this channel. We're going to be talking about the newest fragrance releases that have been announced over this past week. This is a series I like to call Smash or Pass, where every Monday we sit down together and we talk about what's new in fragrance. We analyze the trends, we discuss what we like, what we don't like. This is meant to be a way for us to evaluate what has been released. It's not necessarily meant to be a judgment on any one of these fragrances, but whenever we see a new item, we always go through an inner monologue of whether or not we want to purchase it and why, and this series is meant to illustrate that. So with that being said, if this is your first time watching this channel, hello, my name is Anya. I love fragrances. I talk about them here every single weekday, Monday through Friday. I also publish additional content on TikTok and Instagram under the username ANECHKAFRAGRANCES. And if you're interested at all in fragrance history, or if you have never even learned anything about that and you're curious about hearing more, I have a podcast called The Fragrance Report, designed for this very purpose. It's available on Spotify and here on YouTube. I launch a new episode every single Wednesday, so if you're interested, be sure to check it out. Also, with all these new releases, everything kind of coming out so quickly, I feel like there is a necessity, I feel like there's a need for us to really try and keep track of what we are spending, what we have in our collections, whether it be samples, decants, or full bottles, the notes we have, what we like, what we don't like. And for that purpose, I have created a fragrance collection log and expense tracker. It's available for you to download in my Stan store. So with that being said, there is a lot to get through, so let's get started. One of the very first releases to talk about is actually one that I have in my hand today. This is Sweet Tooth. It's from the Secret Menu. It's a release by Sniff. If you're unaware, they have a Secret Menu collection, which basically includes some more out of the box, out of the ordinary fragrances. They have had a croissant perfume. They have had a perfume that has a gasoline note, apparently. I might be wrong, but they also have this fragrance here, which is called Sweet Tooth, and this is a fragrance that's inspired by gummy candies. So this perfume has notes of watermelon, sugar, raspberry, violet, musk, and cedarwood. I've had a chance to test this fragrance for just under a week, and I will say this perfume is kind of like, it literally smells exactly like kind of a cross between a sour gummy candy and a Jolly Rancher, like a watermelon Jolly Rancher. If you're looking for something like sweet gourmand candy like, this is a really good option in my opinion. I will say this, it's an extremely potent fragrance, like maybe not extremely, but definitely one of the stronger Sniff fragrances that I have had the opportunity to test. And for that reason, for me personally, one spray is all I need for this fragrance. I don't need any more than one spray because this is a very strong perfume, and I do think that it's a great layering fragrance. One of my favorite ways to layer this is with like a lemon fragrance, for example. Sora Dora's number 7. I also think Neydo's Alien Fruit would go very well with this too. So if you're trying to add a little bit more of like a gourmand candy touch to any, fragrance, this, in my opinion, could be a really great option, or you could wear it on its own. But I just prefer wearing it layered with other perfumes because I feel like it amps them up and adds a little bit more diversity. This fragrance is altogether quite linear. It doesn't really change throughout its journey on the skin. But like I said, it is very strong, so keep that in mind. This is available on their website currently, and I do have a discount code associated with Sniff. It's just Anya10, so you can use that code to get yourself a discount. Yeah, it's really delicious. I really like it, but like I said, just a caveat, it is pretty strong, and just know you're going to be getting a fragrance that literally smells like watermelon, Jolly Ranchers, and sour kind of gummy candies. It's really delicious. Speaking of lemon fragrances, we have a new release by Net. They are launching this fragrance called Lemon Puff. This is supposed to be a joyful, nostalgic fragrance that is a mood booster, and this particular scent will have notes of bergamot and lemon at the top, a mid of jasmine, sambac, vanilla, almond, and meringue, and then a base of sandalwood. And actually, this is an interesting fact that I did not know, but the glass bottle that comes that this fragrance comes in, and the glass bottle that also is the design for the other Net fragrances, is actually inspired by brutalist architecture and New York City's iconic Brewer building. So I did not know that. I actually think that's really quite interesting. The founder of Net, her name is Carol Han Pyle, and I actually had the opportunity to meet her last spring in New York City. She is wonderful. I absolutely love following her on TikTok, mostly because she does like really like inspirational entrepreneurial content, which I find really interesting. But she was talking about how with this launch, she really wants to make an effort to not churn out fragrances really quickly. She wants to be very slow and methodical with how many fragrances they launched, because the last fragrance they launched was Pear Jam, and it's been a while since they've launched another fragrance. I believe that fragrance launched in 2024. So when we think about how quickly brands churn out fragrances, Net is actually being very slow, methodical, and maybe even arguably more thoughtful than a lot of other brands with these kind of slow releases. And I think she had received some feedback from consumers saying that this sounds really interesting, they would like to smell it, but they don't necessarily want to buy it outright. And she responded saying that in summary, that's actually the point. She actually does want to launch fragrances slowly. She doesn't want to build this hype and have it be like a flash in the pan almost, and then have it like kind of disappear. She wants her fragrances to be more evergreen, and I really love that philosophy, especially coming from a fragrance founder, because that's what I say on this channel so much. Like in so many of these videos, you will often hear me say, I would like to smell this, but I don't want to get this now. And if you watch my channel on a regular basis, or even just a little bit, you would know that I am not someone who buys fragrances like just quickly reactionary. I don't do that. That doesn't seem authentic to me. I don't love doing that. I don't like blind buying. I like smelling things. I like being very methodical. At the end of the day, I think that there's always something new, and it's really nice having a founder or being able to observe a founder just encourage slow consumerism. I don't know the proper term for it, but that's like the best way I can describe it at this point. Kind of like not the opposite of kind of fast fashion when it comes to fragrance, like slowly promoting and sharing products that people can use for an extended period. So I do think that that's really valuable, and it's nice to see a founder come up with that kind of strategy and encourage that for her consumers as well. I really appreciate that. And this fragrance does seem interesting, but as the commenter said, I am probably not going to be buying this fragrance outright. I have a lot of lemon fragrances in my collection, so this is something that I can very much look forward to testing and trying. And if I like it enough, I'll go ahead and buy it. But yeah, this is the newest fragrance launch from Net. Next up, we have a new launch from Lope. They are launching a new fragrance called Blindfold. This is a collaboration with their founder, Elad Ifrash, and master perfumer Jan Vasnier. And this is supposed to be their most intimate fragrance to date, inspired by pure emotion. This fragrance has top notes of saffron, tobacco, and gardenia milk, made of suede, sandalwood, and patchouli, as well as Atlas cedarwood, and then a base of musk, animalic notes, tonka bean, and amber. This brand was founded in 2004, and recently they have been trying to focus more on creating unique blends that spotlight and incorporate all five senses to kind of promote singularity and diversity with their collection and aesthetics. So this particular fragrance is available for $160 for a 50 milliliter and $250 for 100 milliliter. I would slot this into affordable niche because it's right around the $200 mark. I consider affordable niche to be like under, like kind of like under $300, $200. This, not gonna lie, sounds really interesting. I expect this could be like a kind of skin musk scent, but it does seem to have some animalic touches, which really is piquing my interest because you guys know how much I love animalic fragrances, especially in the winter. Like I was going for animalic fragrances so much I was obsessed with leather. Now I've kind of like taken a break from that, but definitely not for long. I can guarantee you this does seem very intriguing. I believe L'Objet is sold at Bergdorf's. I don't know where else. That's where I first tried the line in Bergdorf's. They have a very interesting lipstick fragrance that I was absolutely obsessed with. But this is definitely something I have my eye on, and this house in general is something that I have been quite curious about, so I'm looking forward to testing this out. Next, we have a new fragrance from Latafa. They are launching a perfume called Petra, which is being described as a sun-drenched tribute to Mediterranean elegance. This is a luminous, soul-warming composition inspired by Mediterranean summers. And this fragrance is named after the Greek word for stone or rock, which happens to be Petra. And this is meant to be a fragrance to be embodied. That's what the marketing brief says. So this fragrance will have top notes of plum and rum, a mid of tuberose and coconut, and a base of praline, musk, and vanilla. It's interesting that they are including rum, but I guess they're trying to still make it like seem a little bit lighter, because all the marketing, the bottle design itself does kind of evoke that Mediterranean aesthetic. So this does sound intriguing. I do think that this would be something I would be looking forward to smelling, trying out. It seems, I feel like this, okay, hear me out. You know, like how, I don't know if you can see my screen, but you see like how like they have like these like splash designs on the marketing image with all the notes. I feel like this might be like a little bit more like tonic. This sounds like it could be an interesting launch, and then the bottle design looks absolutely beautiful. Interesting. Okay, yeah. According to Fragrantica, and they apparently tried this fragrance, it opens with a deep resonance warmth of aged rum, and then at the heart, tuberose emerges with a measured velvety depth, gently wrapped in coconut's languid, sun-warmed softness, and then the dry down brings the taste of praline, subtly sweet with a roasted facet that lingers on the skin, like a trace of warmth left by fading light. So it unfolds in quiet layers. So, okay. I'm looking forward to testing this. I'll definitely be getting a fragrance decant of this for sure, and I'll let you know what I think. So we have a new launch also from Latafa. This is from their Fakar line, and this is the Fakar Latafa Platine fragrance. This is marketed towards men. So we have top notes of bergamot, pink pepper, and cardamom, a mid of ginger, lavender, and guava, and then a base of Palo Santo, incense, and sandalwood. So I don't, this sounds really intriguing. If I have the opportunity to try it, I absolutely will. But I don't know if I would like go out of my way to try it, because if it's masculine leaning, I'm not quite sure how it'll be. So I feel like if I have the opportunity to try this, I will, obviously. But I'm more excited by Petra personally, because I feel like that would be more in keeping with what I want from a fragrance. Yes, there is guava here, so I'm kind of curious about kind of smelling and experiencing what guava would be like in a fragrance marketed towards men, but I'm not quite sure. Let me know what you think. Next, we have a new collection of body mists from Josie Marin. She has had the California collection of body butters and sugar scrubs for quite some time, but a lot of her audience has been asking for those scents to be, or for those products to be turned into scents, and she collaborated with Jérôme Epinette to create fragrance mists that are infused with argan oil for some added hydration. And this is supposed to be 100% natural, ultra hydrating, and bursting with scents that transport you straight to sun-soaked California. This collection will include 4 mists with Bohemian Fig, Golden Hour, Topless Tangerine, and Vanilla Vibes. So let's get into the notes. So the fig one, which is called Bohemian Fig, will include notes of orange, bergamot, Sicilian lemon, and vanilla orchid, as well as tonka beans and vetiver. Then Golden Hour will include notes of bergamot and jasmine at the top, a mid of lily petals and vanilla bean, and then a base of santal, white musk, and amber. Moving forward, Topless Tangerine will include top notes of yuzu, pixie tangerine, pink grapefruit, a mid of blackcurrant, pineapple, and melon, and a base of brown sugar. And then the final fragrance, Vanilla Vibes, will include top notes of bergamot and juniper berries, and a mid of violet, and then a base of cedarwood and vanilla bean. That one sounds really interesting. I don't know if you know this or not, but I love juniper berries. So I feel like this would be something that I would genuinely be interested in trying out. In fact, all of these fragrances sound interesting. I will commend them on actually launching fragrance mists in bottles that don't look like typical fragrance mists. I don't think I've ever mentioned this before because I've never even like actually thought about it before I saw this, but I feel like so many brands, when they launch fragrance mists, they just do that tube. I don't know what it is. I don't enjoy that. Like, that won't prevent me from buying a fragrance mist. Obviously, I have a few, but I don't love that in a fragrance. Like, I kind of, I don't know, like, I want it to be more of an experience. I don't want it to just be like a tube of stuff, something that I spray on. So I really like the general look of this. I think it's eye-catching. I think it's interesting. But the only caveat that I was like kind of thinking about when I was reading the marketing brief is they're talking about this being something that you can wear in the sun. So I feel like it would have been even better if they included like SPF in the actual fragrance mist itself. I don't know the formulation of how that would affect the formulation at all, but if they're including argan oil and they're promoting it as something with argan oil, and they're also saying that that's something you could spray on in the sun, I feel like putting SPF in there would make it even better. I know that I would like it even more if it had that, and I don't know. I feel like if it's going to be something that we're promoting to spray on during the summertime and there's oil in it, having SPF would be even more helpful, and I feel like it would be even easier to market. But then again, I don't know how the formulation of that would work. So that's my only caveat. I will say one of my favorite things, and I don't know, well actually, yeah, I've already posted it. I published a beauty favorites video, just I think it might have been like a week or so ago, where I talked about my favorite beauty products. And one of my absolute favorite products is actually this body oil from Kopari. It's literally a body oil that is infused with SPF 50. So it has like these like kind of like gold shimmery flecks that don't like look chunky on the skin. It's actually very like beautiful. And I use it as a primer. Literally, I use it as a primer. I can't really say that it affects my skin in a negative way. I think my skin actually benefits from the SPF and the added moisture, but I don't know if you can tell like on the camera, but in person, my skin is like glowy, but not in like an over way, and I literally get compliments from people on my skin simply because I use like a face oil. But the key thing is to make sure that face oil, or to make sure any oil in general, has SPF. So case in point, I feel like if they added SPF to this, it would make this an even better product and safer for people to use. Moving on to a new launch from Milano Fragrenzi, they are launching a fragrance inspired by Milanese nightlife called Neon Lights. So this is supposed to take us back to Milan's golden years of the 1980s and 90s, specifically the nightlife during that time. So this fragrance is supposed to embody joy, excess, camp aesthetics, and self-expression. And the fragrance will have top notes of bergamot essential oil, cardamom essential oil, coriander essential oil, clove essential oil, ylang-ylang essential oil, and a mid of absolute tuberose, strawberry accord, essential oil of geranium, heliotrope, and a honey accord. And then the base will have cedarwood essential oil, vetiver essential oil, amber accord, vanilla gourmand, tonka bean, and musk. I, as you guys know, love Basilica by this brand. Like, that is one of my favorite niche fragrances of all time. Basilica, for those of you who are unaware, is a gorgeous savory gourmand that has herbal notes, that has an electronic accord that translates to kind of like a bread-like accord. So it ends up smelling kind of like an herbed, like bread with herbs. It's so good. Like, I love it so much. And also the other thing is about this brand, their bottles are absolutely stunning. I don't know how they keep the price lower than $200 and they have the bottles look so beautiful. There's etchings on the cap. The bottle itself is like this brilliant blue glass. It just really stands out. I really like Milano Fragrenzi, and I'm excited about this launch. It's a bit tough to sample them here in the States. I believe they are available at Scent Bar. I don't know where else. So I'm excited about this. I'm looking forward to testing it. Okay, so we have a new fragrance by Philosophy. They are launching Summer Grace Endless Afternoon. So this fragrance will have a top note of peach, mid of jasmine, and then a base of sandalwood. Okay, here's the thing. I'm not a huge fan of Philosophy. I feel like their fragrances are a bit basic. And that doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad fragrance house or that people shouldn't buy from them. In fact, when I was working retail, Philosophy was a really easy sell because their fragrances are so universally appealing for the most part. But for me, where I'm at with my fragrance collection, with what I look for in a fragrance, I don't really find them appealing because I feel like Philosophy is marketed towards people who, I mean, this is an overgeneralization, and of course there are exceptions to this, but I feel like Philosophy is marketed towards people who have like maybe 10 fragrances at most, who are just looking for something that's functional, that's easy, that's just basic. And that's totally fine. Sometimes like that it works for people, but for me, I look at this and I'm like, okay, it's nothing that's like standing out at me. The bottles are usually pretty basic too. Like it's just like literally one of those, like it looks like a template that they just put the sticker on. I don't really want to spend my money on this, so this is gonna be a pass. Wait, this is kind of unfortunate. Xerjoff is launching or relaunching their purple Ashento fragrance in a new bottle design. So I have thoughts. This has top notes of bergamot, mandarin, hyacinth, and pineapple, a mid of loganberry, orris, jasmine, pink pepper, and then a base of amber, musk, sandalwood, vanilla, and oud. They are launching it in this kind of like purple design, but I'm going to show you what it looked like before. What it looks like before, sparkles, glitter, crystals. I love that so much more, and maybe they had to like make a few changes because of like costs. Like costs are going up now, so I don't blame them, but that's kind of sad. But yeah, I don't know. I would have loved to see the crystals. I feel like the crystals are better, but the bottle design doesn't look bad. But I saw the sparkles, I was like, oh. We do have a new fragrance launch by the House of Oud. This is called Nuances of Tea, with top notes of lemon peel, pineapple, plum, and green tea, a mid of condensed milk and green mango, and then a base of cedarwood, vetiver, and amber. This sounds good. It sounds exciting. This is the kind of thing that I would be very interested in trying out. Like, this looks like a lactonic tea fragrance with the citrus. I love this. This sounds delightful. So this is definitely something that I would like to sample. I've tried a few things from House of Oud. I do like their fragrances. I have like one fragrance from them, Wabi Sabi, which I really love. But this does seem interesting. I would be intrigued to try this out, shall we say. Yeah, this seems exciting. So looking at the marketing brief, it's a new scent that embodies Taiwan's ice cream parlors. The refreshing summer scent opens with a whirlwind of succulent pineapple and mango, revealing layers of the fruit's sweet essences. In the heart, a crisp, crushed ice accord works like a breath of fresh air before it settles upon a smooth milk and tea fusion that reveals the scent's soft character. It's more of an ice bowl that eventually melts on a sunny summer afternoon. So, like I said, definitely interested in this. I'm looking forward to trying it out. I just found out my camera's dying, not ideal, so I think I'm going to end it here. But those are all the releases that we have to talk about. Let me know, what do you think about these? Is there anything that stood out to you? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!